And maybe even somebody like Vicky from the Very Odd Parents.
Lots and lots of cool stuff. That's just a few highlights, and really I just picked my favorites, so if I didn't pick your favorite, I'm sorry. And we're gonna let her talk, and then we're gonna have Tentacle Chris in the audience taking your questions. So
I'll pick you so you don't have to blame her.
Miss Gray.
Yay!
Everybody has been so nice. I just told Tara this afternoon, I was like, have we met any jerks? I don't think there are any jerks here. Everybody's really, really nice. So thank you for coming. And I just really I don't do a lot of these, so I'm a little bit shy when it's like actual seeing me. I said, can I just answer questions from behind there on the microphone?
You can go back there like the Wizard of Oz.
Especially I know.
Don't look behind the screen, kids.
I wanna go home. Annie, I'm Uncle Henry. I'm frightened. But Tara was so good, and I watched her panel this morning. I was like, oh my God, I can't do that. But I'm gonna do my best.
We believe in you!
So do I just, what do I do? You ask me questions, or do I?
I ask you a question, Jess. So what's your favorite, what room are you staying in? Please, you
I'm with your wife.
Yeah, please. You guys have fun, take pictures. Yeah. Tell us as much as you want, and when we go to Q&A, you let me know.
Just sort of like how I started and the whole thing?
Just talk, and then we can take questions. It's your show.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't have any structure. That DC brought like a whole thing, like the computer thing, and I'm the non-computer
It didn't work at first.
Well, I've been doing voices since I was could speak. My mom used to do like little baby voices to me all the time, and and people would say, she's never gonna learn to talk normally if you keep talking to her like that. And so now my mom likes to brag to her friends that my dad never learned to talk normally, so it worked out pretty good. And then I would memorize sketches I really wanted to be a stand-up comic, so I memorized sketches from The Tonight Show and stuff, and when my mom was blow-drying her hair, I was doing it for her behind her. And then it was probably annoying after a while. And then when I got into high school, I really I would steal people's comedy material, which I did not know was not cool to do, and I would just perform it around town at any place that would let somebody who was under 18 do comedy. So then I realized that was a terrible thing to do, and I shouldn't do that at all. Then I started writing my own material, which was not funny, but I did impressions. So that was the only good thing about my act. I did The Wizard of Oz. Like I was just, even people that I went to high school with call me still Dorothy. When I went to my reunion, they're like, Dorothy, hey Dorothy, because I used to do Dorothy all the time, but I would go, I want to go home, Annie, I'm Uncle Henry, I'm frightened.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Oh, I'm not a witch at all, I'm just a little girl.
It's all right, you may all come out and thank her. As mayor of Munchkin City, in the county of Land of Oz, I welcome you most eagerly.
You killed my sister! Was it you? I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't mean to kill anybody.
I'll kill him with a hand behind the back. I'll kill him.
Anyway, that was a long high school. Oh my God. And then my boyfriend in high school was Mario Lopez. You know Mario Lopez from Saved by the Bell? Yeah, got a little bit of the lope. Anyway. But he was an actor in LA, and he would go, his mom and I just loved his mom, and she was always saying, you gotta get an agent, but I was like I am now, social anxiety. I was a little bit shy of, actually going in front of the camera and everything, so, but I did go on some auditions, but as soon as I graduated I felt like theater was where I really blossomed because, I was kind of a drama geek, and, I was accepted there, and I could because when I moved to LA, I started trying to do just on-camera work. They wanted you to just play the 20-year-old girl, and I was thinking, how boring. I don't want to be the 20-year-old girl. I want to be the dragon and the baby and just all that stuff. So I did a lot of theater because you could be anything you wanted. So I did a lot of theater, and I got a degree in theater, and still was trying to do the stand-up. And finally this lady's like, your act is not great, but your impressions are good. She's like, while you're working on being funny, maybe you could do some cartoon voices. So I thought, well, where do you do that? Let's go sign up for that, and it ended up being a really long process because I had to make a tape, and then somebody has to listen to your tape, which nobody wants to because they say enough people doing it, and it's a really small world. But I was thinking, I know I could do that though. That's the one thing I really feel, because when I would go on camera auditions, I felt like I'm sure there are other girls here that are probably just as good, if not better at this than I am. But the voices, I thought, I think I could really, I've been doing it my whole life, and I really, really think that I want it more than anybody else, and I really feel like if I keep trying, I can do it. And so I crashed an audition at Disney. My agent just said, I finally got an agent, and after a long time. Nobody would listen to my tape. And finally she did. It's a big deal. Like when you look at a picture, it's easy to just look at a picture and go, we love you, you're great, you're pretty, you know, but if a voice thing, it's like, oh, they gotta put it, back then, I'm old, and they had to put it like in the machine and put the thing, and you know, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So, but they took me and she said, you know, that they don't really want to see you because they only want to see people that are already doing things. And I was like, but how do I do that when nobody will see me? I can't already be doing things. And she said, well, just go and just say that you didn't get the message. And I was like, oh, great, that makes me feel really comfortable with my social issues as it is. But I went and I got the part. It was this little pilot called Penny Dreadful for Disney, and I think Tara was on it too. I don't know. It didn't really do anything, but I was able to say, you know, I'm working for Disney. So then when my agent was like, oh, she just got a Disney pilot, then Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network are all, well, how come we haven't seen her yet? It's like, because you wouldn't see her yet. So then I got to go on auditions, and I got like 7 things in the first month that I started doing it. So I was like, I know that this is my thing. I found it. I'm not gonna wait tables forever. I did singing telegrams, and I cleaned houses, and because I have no skills other than this, like this, I can't do computer work. I'm a terrible waitress. Terrible. Like I was awful. I was charming. That was about it. I opened the door at Olive Garden very well. Opening the door. Italiano. Yeah. They tried me like at a hostess, and I messed that up. They tried me as a waitress. I messed that up. They're like, back to the door for you. Here you go. Just be nice to everybody. So, yeah, I just thought, like, if I don't make it doing this, I am going to open the door at Walmart or the Olive Garden forever. That's like all I can do. So anyway, so then I got Rugrats doing Reptar. And Tara and I were just these little I was like 21, and she was, I think, 22, and but she's been, you know, she's like the lady. She was doing it like when she was a little kid in Toronto. I think she was like Hello Kitty and all that stuff. Yeah, so she was like, anyway, kid, get in here. But the funny part is, like, I was so excited about having that part. I was on the freeway, and this guy like pulled in front of me. I'm on my way to do the Rugrats, and I swerved to get out of his way, and my car like almost flipped over. And so I spun out on the freeway, my tire popped, and all I could think, I didn't even care about my car. My brain was just going, you gotta get to Rugrats! What if they replace you? You know, this is your dream, you gotta... And this guy pulled over, he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I have to get to Rugrats. Do you know where Klasky Shubo is? It's on Highland. I've gotta get there. And he was like, what about your car? And I was like, just leave the car, I'll figure it out later. Just go. So I mean, you just don't get a lot of chances, and if you mess it up, that's it, you know? So I got to Rugrats, I was like 10 minutes late, and they were a little annoyed, but then I told them I just left my car on the freeway. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. So then Tara was like, sit by me, and then we became really good friends, and she taught me everything I know, and yeah, so that was that, and then I played the McNulty brothers on Rugrats too, and you know, started getting all kinds of little things. I got Emily on Clifford the Big Red Dog. Yeah, and that but still runs. That was like forever ago. I was 24 or something, and yeah, so then I just started working a lot, and I bought my grandma a car, and I was able to help my family a lot, which means a lot because I grew up pretty poor, and I still couldn't stay at the nice hotel. Like, Tara's at the nice hotel, and I'm like, I can't. She's like, just pay the extra money. Why is it a big deal? I'm like, because I don't want. And then she flew first class, and I flew in coach, and she let me sit by her for a little bit. She's like, just pay the money to sit in the first class. I was like, I can't. It's $300, and it's just, I'm gonna be sleeping. I said, if I pay the $300, I'm not gonna be able to sleep because I'll want to stay awake in case there's a cookie or something handed out. So, but she was so sweet. She like talked to the stewardess. She was like, "Can my friend? She's sitting in coach. Can she just? There's this empty seat by me." So I was like, I snuck up there, and I got the pillow, and I slept for most of the time with her, and then I had to sneak back to my regular seat, and because it was hell. There was like a toddler next to me, and then one in the front, and they were screaming, and I actually wanted to take a voice memo so that I could send it to Tara in first class of just like, just like screaming. Oh, anyway, so yeah.
Was that the flight here?
Yes, that was the flight here. No, usually I get lucky. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, So yeah, and then I did. Gosh, I don't know. Like I loved Grim and Evil. I loved playing Mandy. Like that was a big thing. Oh well, yeah.
Well, she's, she just does nothing with her voice.
The director had actually cast his wife. The creator had cast his wife. They didn't stay together for like much longer after that. And she wasn't, we don't know if she's watching this or hello, wherever you are. But the person who was voice directing said, Maxwell, you can either have something you're going to show your grandkids or you can have a hit show, and you really need to recast the lead. They tried to record her like 3 times and it didn't work out. So I came in and Colette Sunderman, she just said, just do nothing, Gray, nothing. And I was like, okay, because I'm so bubbly. And she's like, less, just do less. And I was like, okay. And she's like, less. And okay. And she's like, okay. And she's like, perfect, that's great. So, and I got the pilot for Fairly Odd Parents. And that was, I love Butch Hartman. I told Butch, I was like, every show that you've had that I've been on has done something, so always cast me in everything that you ever do, ever. He tried it once without me and it didn't go. So, but yeah, I'm always like, thank you for my life, Butch Hartman. But I was sad because Mary Kay Bergman was a really good friend of mine. And people ask me about her a lot on the internet, and I don't know, it seems weird for me to answer questions like in front of people like on Twitter, or which I'm kicked off of, by the way. I don't know if anybody's following me on Twitter. So I decided to be the nice person that follows people back, because I thought, how cool, like if I was a fan of somebody and then they followed me back, that would be really awesome. Then they would get kicked off of Twitter, apparently, because you can't follow back to more than a certain amount of people in a small amount of time, and so they thought I was spam. This is the second time they thought I was spam. They want me to do they want you to do the auto follow if you're gonna follow people back, but I feel like that's just so impersonal. Like if I followed somebody who I knew automatically followed me back, then I wouldn't feel like that was as cool. So I want to do it like manually and write to people and stuff if they want to ask questions, and that way you can DM them. Like if they ask me something personal about Mary Kay, I'm not like, blah, 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 Mary Kay, it can be just a personal thing. But Twitter is annoying, so I'm trying to get back on there. If you guys can help in any way, please tell Twitter I'm sorry that I'm nice.
Or not.
Or not. I play a mean person. But yeah, no, Mary Kay and I were very close. She was my first teacher, and she was just incredible. She could just voice match anything, and she was just, and at one point I was a little bit discouraged because I thought, gosh, I don't know if I should. I was working at this job that was saying like, you're missing too much work because you're going on these auditions, and it was just a waiting tables job, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do it, maybe I should just stick to what's like, a regular job. And she's like, are you crazy? Get rid of that, you've got to do this. So she kind of kept me doing it, and she was such a positive, happy person. It was just so out of the blue that she I don't know if you guys know, but she took her own life, and she was Daphne too. She was the original Timmy, and she she was a really beautiful person and an amazing actress. So and she taught me everything I know, and so anyway, it was really hard. Her husband came and stayed with me for a while afterward because he couldn't go back to their house. It was really sad. I'm just going to depress everybody for a while. Everybody, you were having a good time, and now you're not. But I didn't want. Oh my gosh, you're adorable. But that was when they immediately started casting like everything that week. Like she passed away, and then they were like, okay, we need Jessie the cowgirl because she was the singing Jessie, and they're like, we need Daphne, we need Timmy, we need and it just. I remember thinking like, she's gone. Everything's just gonna keep going, like nothing. I mean, it was really hard for me to. And then I was thinking, I need to invest in my personal life and not. This isn't my whole world, like because they don't, they're just gonna go on if something, I need to invest in like people that are my friends and family, and not make this my, because I kind of got into like, oh, what else is next? What am I gonna get? So. But then they Colette Sunderman, again, the woman who directs Scooby-Doo, she said, Gray, we really think that you'd be a great Daphne. You have the same sound as Mary Kay. You guys do a lot of similar things. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to audition for anything. I couldn't imagine listening to her voice and trying to match her and trying to go in there and not break down crying. And her husband, who was staying with me at the time, just said, Gray, you have to. She would have wanted you to do that. Of anybody, she would have wanted you to be the person because she trained you since she taught you what she knows. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna go in, but I'm not gonna listen to her. I can't listen to her voice and try to match her. I'm just gonna go in and do my version of Daphne. And I did, and the engineer at the time said he got goosebumps. He goes, it was just like Mary Kay was in the room and you just were channeling her. He said, you just sounded just like her, and it was amazing. So I ended up getting Daphne, and that was awesome because there's new Scooby-Doos all the time, and I just feel like it's like her gift to me. You know, we both loved dachshunds, and she bought me this little Christmas ornament. I have little wire hair dachshunds, and that's my favorite dog ever. And she gave it to me like a week before she passed away. So it was special to me. Like whenever I see it on my tree, I just think, thank you, Mary Kay, for another year of just being able to do what I love. And I just feel like she's my little angel. So anyway. So we just keep going with different. Azula is my favorite character I've ever. The princess of the Fire Nation. She's just the most evil character I've ever done ever. What?
Had frightening respect for
As you should. No, I remember wanting to be involved with Avatar and auditioning. They were using some celebrities. They were really being careful about who they cast. It was like a long casting process, and I remember like they were auditioning just tons and tons of people and not getting to me because I had done a lot of Nickelodeon cartoons, and I think that they were like, oh great, I'll again, So, but I finally got an audition for it because they just couldn't find the person they wanted, and I did a lot of thinking about the part, and I was just thinking, she is so evil and so dark that, because a lot of people were like yelling, they said, they're kind of over the top and yelling and really bossing people around and screaming, and so I just kind of went in with the mindset of Mandy, because I was saying, Mandy's so powerful, she doesn't need to yell. She's just so bad and so powerful that she can just be Mandy. So I thought, I'm gonna channel that into this this young princess. So she doesn't need to say anything to be very, very frightening, because you know that she will handle her business. She doesn't need to yell. So I did that, and they said, you're the only person who didn't yell and scream, and so I had the part. So yeah, and then it ended up being my favorite ever, and I just loved her. I loved her breakdown at the end. It was just delicious.
Yeah.
I remember leaving that session just going, this is what I was meant to, this was, I love it. So that was my favorite, and I love doing Kitty on Tough Puppy. I love Butch Hartman shows, they're so funny. And we're working with Jerry Trainer, and he's just such a doll, so sweet, and it's just a fun job. There's all kinds of nice people, and it's all the stuff that you got in trouble for in school, that they send you checks for it, and it's just amazing. Sometimes I think, like, I hope they don't ever want this money back. It seems like a mistake. How did this happen, But, and Danny Phantom.
Damn, don't find those ghosts, just like, yeah.
I wanted her to be really positive. A lot of people read her like super goth and like really dark, and I just felt like she had just such a light around her. I mean, even though she likes to wear black and she was into that kind of punk scene, but she seemed like a really positive character. So I just wanted to make sure, and I also didn't want it to be too lovey-dovey between the two of them, because that's just gross, and even though later, totally lovey-dovey. But so I don't know what else.
We can do questions.
Sure.
I'm sure people here might want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And everybody's wondering what that voice is. It's me. It's just me in the back. Yes, Al, you raise your very good, very good. You've been in Tara's Pen. I know how this works. Don't touch my mic. Saturday night. Go ahead and touch it. It's all right. Yes, Mr. Hawkeye.
Go.
really good looking Jack Spicer.
I took a shower. Now I'm a really good-looking Tony Stark. Jeez.
That works. Now, if I remember correctly, you said you used to do singing telegrams, right?
Yes.
Could we get a singing telegram as a voice of your choice?
Okay.
Good. Very nice.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be terrifying.
HAPPYBIRTHDAY. Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you, twerp!
That was the worst job. The happy birthdays were okay, but and Melissa Disney, I don't know know if you know who Melissa Disney is. She was on Ask Told by Ginger. Yes, we used to work for the same singing telegram company called Live Wires in San Diego. At the same time, she was like, okay, Gray, I'm going to give you this one. I'm going to call Melissa for the other one. I always knew of this Melissa person, but I'd never met her. And then we were working together like years later, and she was like, oh, I did singing telegrams, and where'd you do it? And I was like, San Diego. And she's like, oh my God, Live Wires. And I was like, me too. And I was like, Melissa? And she was like, oh my God. It's just crazy. So, no, the worst ones were the sorry ones, because somebody was pissed, and then you had to sing in front of them, and they were not wanting to look at you, and all their coworkers were like, don't listen to him, girl. Don't listen to him. He's full of it. He cheated on you, and he's sending this chick over here. No. Anyway,
You had your hand up and I'm lazy, so let's do this.
Okay, I know you were in Hi Hi Puffy Yummy Yumi. I wanted to know, what was it like talking in Japanese, and also did you get to meet Hi Hi Puffy Yummy Yumi?
okay, it was, I had to learn phonetically Japanese, which they had all these coaches there and everything. And there were two Keone Young is amazing and he speaks fluent Japanese. But Janice Kawai is Japanese, but she didn't speak, she had a little bit, but some of the words, she just couldn't. I felt funny because I'm like the only white chick up there, you know, like I'm Mexican and white, and I was like, I love Japanese, this is awesome. But I think it's because I'm a singer, so I could hear it, you know, and so, yeah, but it was awesome. And I didn't get to meet them, but they did invite us to their House of Blues show, which I was really wanting to meet them. But I was a musician at the time touring, and I was actually doing a show somewhere. It was crazy, y'all. Before I had a kid, I would like do cartoons all week. Then Friday mornings I would fly out, do a gig that night. Then I'd do another gig Saturday night. Then I would fly home Sunday. Then Monday morning I would get up and do cartoons. And it was just like, oh, crazy. And also the people that I was doing the music with were like, wait, what are you doing on Monday? And I'm like, I do cartoon voices. And then the cartoon people were like, wait, what are you doing on Friday? And I'm like, I play the auto harp in this rock band. And so it was a double life, but it was fun. Anyway.
The things you learn at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday in Orlando. Nice. Coming all the way up to the front. Come on the front first, yes.
Oh.
No kids here, okay, good.
So obviously, the volleyball speech in Avatar. How much fun was that to literally do? It's like one of the most crazy things ever.
I know. Well, Azula just took things so seriously. It was so hard for her to have any kind of fun or any lightness. Everything was just like life and death, and I will conquer you. And yeah, I loved the episode The Beach where she was trying to flirt with that guy. It was just painful. It was just like, all of my things are not working. I must dominate you. You will do it. Just like, it was so awkward and fun. I really loved that. It was one of my favorite episodes. Just seeing her in that light of like, oh my gosh, she has a crush on this guy and he won't do what she says. Who hasn't been there, you know?
Yes, you, ma'am. Yes. I must lean awkwardly over this man just for you. Avengers 2 gets weird.
Out of all the characters you did, which one related to you the most in personality and...
Frankie Foster.
Yeah.
I wanted that part so badly because I was like, this is me. I don't even have to do a voice to do this. This is like my character. I was raised by my grandmother in a kooky place, and we had all kinds of crazy friends, and it was a wild life, but it was fun. My grandma was a singer. She used to sing with Tito Puente, and she had all these crazy costumes, and she's a little Mexican lady, and she's just awesome, and yeah, and I had a lot of imaginary friends, so I lived in an old people complex, so I didn't have a lot of kids to play with. But Lauren Faust, she said, I really want you to audition for this part, and I just want you to be you. Don't do anything with it, just be you. And I was like, okay. So I did, and this is kind of funny because Tara and I were really good friends, and she knew how much I wanted that part. And I went on vacation. So I'm in Hawaii, on my first time in Hawaii, and I'm like so excited. And she called, and my agent tells me like, it's looking really good for Frankie Foster. I think you might really get that thing. And then she's like, I really think you have it, you know. And I was like, oh my God. So I left for Hawaii happy. Then Tara calls and leaves me a message going, Gray, I don't know if you heard, but they're actually having a celebrity round of auditions. So we still, because she had gotten the part of the brother, and she was like, so we don't know if we have them because they're actually going out to celebrities first. And I was like, I and it was just like, it ruined my day. It ruined my day, and I was like, and I couldn't get much service either, and I was like, God, I can't believe, I was like tearing up, and you know, and then I called her, and she's like, oh yeah, I was just kidding, no, I think But I was elated to get that news, so I think it was ended up being a nice thing she did for me. It made me happier than ever to know that she was full of it, but she was a lot of mean little jokes like that. That's why we're so close.
Tara kicked you in the junk, and she's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, let me give you a hug. Did you feel better? You're like, but you kicked me in the junk. Yes, Pinkie Pie.
Olga Pataki.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
Thank you. Of all the Foster's characters, which one is your absolute favorite, like, of the friends?
Well, she wasn't the most popular character. Well, gosh, I don't know. I loved Barry because all of us have a little bit of that in there. You know, just the crazy kind of, why are you can't get my name right? It's so weird. I am so special to you, I thought.
But I love doing that just because it was a really hard character to do, you know?
I just love to sound completely different than myself sometimes too, and she was just so despicable and just so gross. They said, think Donatella Versace, and I was like, got it, you know. I mean, not that, I hope Donatella, I'm sorry, if you're watching this YouTube video.
She's in the back right now.
Okay, now, I'm very important. Donatella Versace's watching my interview.
Yes, you come, let's meet halfway. We'll meet at the Hawkeye. It's a fabulous bar downtown.
Do you know by any chance if Danny Phantom is coming up, and can you do Sam's voice?
Well, I'm not, you know what, it's weird because people really love Danny Phantom, you know? And I was like, what was Nickelodeon thinking? I love you, Nickelodeon. Thank you for my house. But I was telling, you know, it was trending on Twitter the other night, Danny Phantom. It was like Thursday night, it was trending, and so I texted Butch and said, Danny Phantom's trending, they can't kill it. They're just not gonna keep it down. It's going ghost. But I don't know, I mean, God, maybe if enough people, like, you know, that's how, I think networks listen to you guys. You have a lot more power than you think, so,
Guys, we know what to do.
yeah, this is your mission. But yeah, we all loved it. I don't know why it had to go down. Is there? I'm not on Facebook. That's why nobody knows who I am. I'm sitting next to Tara and they're like, oh, you do that character and that character. I'm like, yes, I know. I don't do good self-promotion.
First Twitter and now Facebook. What haven't you been kicked
I was
off?
only on Twitter for like a week before I got kicked off, so.
You won't get kicked off Facebook.
And you can't get kicked off Facebook, so maybe I'll start a Facebook
Go
page.
Facebook.
Do it!
Do it!
I'm just
It's
so
better.
shy,
You'll have
kind
thousands
of,
of friends.
ultimately.
Get on Friendster. I hear it's the next hot thing.
Exactly, yeah. A little MySpace page, actually.
Get on Tumblr.
I don't even have Instagram or anything either. I don't have that.
You misunderstood.
Really? Okay, you know what? I might have gotten kicked off Twitter for liking because I stopped following back. Because I just feel, if I was like a fan of somebody and I wrote something to them and they just ignored me, which has happened to me on Twitter. Well, I mean, I'm sure they have a lot of people, but I'm like, oh, it's a funny thing I'm gonna say. You know, and then they just like, and I just think, oh, delete. But so I wanted to star everything that people say, because just to say, like, I saw it. That's like my way of, like, this guy's like, are you auto-starring or is that really you? And I wrote him like, I really am starring you. I just want, I said it's my way of just saying, I saw what you said, it's cool, I'm recognizing you. And he was like, oh, okay, cool, but I think I got kicked off the second time for the stars. Can you do that?
This is considered spammable behavior, and if you keep it up, we're gonna pay your
I'm very spammy, you guys.
We accept you.
I just want everybody to know that I love them. If I didn't star, it's just because I want to stay on Twitter.
No Twitter questions, sir.
What was it like to voice Mandy, and how exactly did you prepare for that kind of role?
It was really difficult because I have like a really bubbly personality normally, and it was just really hard to do hardly anything with my voice, and it's just like I'm barely pushing air out through my throat. That's like pretty much all I'm doing, and so it was hard, but I love working with Richard, and he made me want to be more hyper because he was like, ah! And I'm like, I want to be over there. Everybody was great to work with, and the Grim Reaper, that was such an ingenious choice for Greg Eagles to go Rastafari. He was the only guy, everybody else did it British, and he was the only guy who did the Rastafarian thing, which I thought was so awesome, so, yeah.
Hi, first off I want to say that you are beautiful.
Oh, thank you! Oh my God, thank you so much.
I
All questions must open. Any answers now?
This is an evil plot of hers. And I did follow you on Twitter, and you followed me back. I was surprised that you actually did. So thank
That was an auto follow.
Curse is foiled again. But a question I wanted to ask you is, if you could choose a voice that you wanted to do that you can't naturally do, what would it be?
Well, I mean, this is gonna sound like I'm a jerk, but I feel like I'm pretty versatile. Like I can do old, all the ages of women. Like I can go to like
a really old lady like this, my answering machine just says, "You reached Great Delisle's message machine."
It's so funny because people leave me these really, and then I act like I'm talking to somebody else. Like I go,
"Hello, you've reached Great Delisle's machine. Please leave a message." And I don't know how to do it.